Mist gathered around her ankles like shy ghosts. The city above hummed, pipes breathing, gears sighing, drones murmuring prayers of commerce. Mira kept her chin high, because the air always punished the small. Her sign drooped from moisture, ink bleeding into the cardboard, but she refused to replace it. Each smudge was proof she hadn't given up yet. People streamed past in silvery coats that repelled the chill. Their reflections blinked across the glass walkways, efficient, sealed, and spotless. None looked down. Looking down meant seeing the problem. A drop of light landed near her toes. She turned. A man had stopped. Mid-30s maybe, shoulders square but eyes older. His badge glowed faint blue. AR Control Guild, maintenance. The letters pulsed like a heartbeat. "Where's your handler?" he asked, voice low. Not unkind, just careful. Mira gripped the satchel strap until her knuckles paled. "Don't have one." "Just my mother. She's sick." He studied her with the quick scan of someone trained to measure problems, temperature, posture, breath rate. "Sick how?" "She can't breathe right when the misters turn on. I can work for filters. I clean neat." The man's gaze shifted toward the glowing arches overhead. The citrus mist hissed, leaving a sting in the back of his throat. He recognized the pattern. The mix was wrong, too acidic for hybrids. Whoever calibrated it had followed outdated charts. Probably his own old designs. "I'm Jalen," he said finally. "You shouldn't be standing here." Mira blinked. "Then where do I stand to be seen?" That question cracked something quiet inside him. He exhaled through his teeth, looked around, then knelt so their eyes met. "Show me where your mother is." Her ankle bells chimed once, a cautious yes. They moved through the crowd, her small hand leading, his longer stride adjusting to match. She spoke only when needed, practical as a worker twice her age. At the terrace edge, a woman lay beneath the soft hiss of the misters, skin faintly luminous and blotched violet silver. "Mom?" Mira whispered. The woman stirred, coughing once, too dry to make sound. Jalen's instincts took over. He shut off the nearest valve with a twist of his wrist. The mist thinned. The air cleared. "Can you walk?" he asked. The mother's eyes opened, wary, proud. "If I fall," she said, "I stand on my own." "Then tell me before you fall," he replied, already reaching for his toolkit. The bells at Mira's ankle rang again, brighter this time. Something had changed. The city had finally looked down. The corridor beyond the terrace smelled faintly of burnt citrus and fear. Jalen guided them through service tunnels that hummed with forgotten machines. Light bled from cracked panels, painting Mira's face in shifting amber. She walked in silence, her hand wrapped around her mother's sleeve, as if tethering the world together. They reached a narrow doorway half buried behind rusted ducts. Jalen keyed in an old passcode. The door sighed open to a room lined with silent monitors and shelves of dismantled filters. A single blue lamp hummed overhead, steady and clean. "This was my workspace," he said. "I fix what the guild breaks." Lyra, her breathing still uneven, studied the walls. "Why help us?" "You don't even know what we are." "I know you're choking on someone else's profit," he answered. "That's enough." Mira climbed onto a stool, curious eyes flicking between tools. She pressed a switch, and a burst of cold steam puffed upward. She yelped, then laughed, startled but delighted. Jalen couldn't help a small smile. The sound felt like air moving again after years of stillness. He ran a scanner across Lyra's arm. The readings pulsed red. "Your body's reacting to citrus oil. It burns the inner lungs. You'll need neutral vapor for a while." "That easy?" she asked. "Nothing's easy," he said, mixing drops into a flask. "But it's fixable." As the vapor steadied her breath, color returned to her cheeks, soft lavender under the glow. She exhaled slowly, as if remembering how Mira leaned close to Jalen's toolkit. "Do you get paid to make air behave?" "Sometimes." "That seems like cheating," she said, grinning. "Air's supposed to do what it wants." He chuckled once. "You'd be surprised how stubborn air can be." The brief laughter cracked the tension, but when Jalen checked the monitor again, his smile vanished. The lab's access feed flickered, 3 security pings, moving fast toward his zone. "They traced me," he murmured. "I erased my ID months ago." "Then they'll erase you back," Lyra said quietly. He turned to them both. You need to leave, now. Mira's voice trembled. But you'll come, right? He hesitated only a breath. I built the air that's killing people. I'm not running from it again. The blue lamp dimmed. Somewhere above, alarms began to echo like distant thunder. The first alarm was distant, the second close enough to taste. A metallic pulse rippled through the floor, followed by the faint hiss of closing gates. Jalen grabbed his toolkit and swung open a service hatch at the back of the lab. This way, he said. Keep low. Mira slipped her hand into his without asking. Lyra followed, her breath shallow but steadier than before. The hatch opened onto a maintenance walkway suspended over a sea of glowing mist. Beneath them, turbines turned like slow hearts. They moved quickly, boots clanging against steel. Overhead, drones swept beams of light through the vapor. Mira flinched at each pass. Jalen counted the intervals, 3 seconds between scans. On my mark, he whispered. We cross when it hums. At the hum they ran. The light missed them by inches. Lyra stumbled once. Jalen caught her elbow before she fell. I told you, she rasped. I stand on my own. You're standing, he said. I'm just keeping the air honest. A nervous laugh escaped her. Even now, humor survived. They reached a side corridor where a thin man in an oil-stained jacket leaned against a crate. You're late, he said, grin crooked. I heard alarms and guessed it was your kind of trouble, Koran, Jalen muttered. Still trading secrets for oxygen credits? Still pretending you quit the guild? Koran replied. His eyes landed on Mira. Cute apprentice. Dangerous accessory. She's not, Jalen began, but Lyra stepped forward. She's my daughter. You help us, or you don't breathe easy tonight. Koran's grin faltered. Fair deal. He flipped a lever behind him, revealing a cargo lift half hidden by crates. Down leads to the rust zone. Drones won't track below level 30. The lift creaked under their weight. As it descended, lights flickered, painting their faces in amber bursts. Mira clutched the railing, whispering numbers under her breath, counting courage. Halfway down, a drone zipped past the opening, scanning for heat. Jalen pulled Mira close, heart hammering. The drone paused, lens focusing. Then the lift dropped suddenly into shadow. When it stopped, silence filled the shaft. The air was dense but sweet, natural, untouched by citrus. Mira inhaled and smiled faintly. It's clean here. Jalen looked up at the fading light above. Then we stay in the dark for now. The rust zone wasn't what Mira expected. She'd imagined darkness thick as oil and people crawling like shadows. Instead, the air shimmered faintly with green light from bioluminescent vines wrapping the tunnels. The scent was metallic, clean, raw. For the first time, she could breathe without coughing. Lyra touched the wall, fingertips trailing the damp surface. It's alive, she whispered. It's surviving, Jalen corrected. The old filtration routes. Guild abandoned them decades ago. Shapes moved deeper in the tunnel. Alien refugees, some with silver skin, others translucent like water in motion. They watched the newcomers in silence, unsure if Jalen's guild emblem meant salvation or danger. Koran kept one hand near his belt, eyes scanning. Down here, trust cost more than air. Then we pay with honesty, Jalen said. He stepped forward, showing empty palms. We're running from the guild. They're hunting her. He nodded toward Lyra. A tall woman stepped from the crowd, her face marked with faint geometric lines that pulsed softly. Hunting? Or retrieving property? Lyra's jaw tightened. Both, maybe. Mira slipped behind her mother's skirt, but curiosity pulled her forward again. Why do you live down here if the air's good? Because they told us we didn't deserve to breathe it, the woman said. And we believed them until the machines broke. Jalen felt a quiet ache spread in his chest. The blueprints he'd once drawn, the systems he'd trusted, had become instruments of control. They're using mist exposure to force compliance, he said aloud. If people need guild air, they can't rebel. Lyra's eyes found his. And you built it. He didn't deny it. I thought I was fixing a problem, not creating one. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then Mira, with her small, certain voice, said, if air can be fixed, maybe people can too. The refugees exchanged glances, half doubt, half hope. From above, faint mechanical echoes shivered down the shaft. Drones again, Goran cursed under his breath. They found us, Jalen turned to the crowd. There's a way to reverse the flow. Send pure air up instead of down. But I'll need help. Lyra stepped closer. Then stop talking and start saving your mess. Her tone was sharp, but her hand found his sleeve. The touch meant she hadn't given up on him yet. The tunnels shook as the drones drew nearer, their searchlights slicing through dust like knives. Jalen worked fast, cables spread across the floor, fingers raw. The old filter core hummed, a forgotten heart waking after years of silence. Once I reroute the feed, he said, clean air will rise through every vent in the city. They can't sell what everyone already has. Goran frowned. And if it backfires? Then we choke together, Jalen answered without flinching. Lyra crouched beside him, helping align the valves despite the tremor in her hands. She didn't speak apology or forgiveness. They didn't need those words anymore. Mira watched quietly, clutching a small, light orb. Her face glowed pale blue in the flicker. Above, the alarm tone deepened, drones dropping closer. The refugees began to scatter. Go, Jalen urged them. When the pressure spikes, you'll need distance. No, the tall woman said. We stay. If we run again, the air wins. Lyra's lips curved faintly. Then breathe with us. Jalen flipped the main switch. The system roared alive, releasing a burst of white vapor that shot upward through the ceiling vents. The ground shuddered. Somewhere far above, glass shattered. A second later, a sound like rain filled the air, the hiss of purification. On the surface, terraces, citizens looked up as clouds of neutral mist unfurled across the skyline, washing away the citrus haze. For the first time, people inhaled without flinching. The city exhaled. In the control chamber, lights burst around them. Mira laughed, a pure, sudden sound that made everyone freeze. Her laughter vibrated with the same frequency as the airflow, steadying it. She had become part of the balance itself. Jalen turned to her, stunned. You did that? I just laughed, she said. Maybe the air liked it. When the last alarm died, silence settled like peace, finally remembered. Lyra leaned against the wall, exhausted but smiling. You fixed it, she whispered. We all did, Jalen said. Later, as dawn filtered through the upper terraces, Mira painted over the old Workers' Wanted sign with borrowed dye. In bold, crooked letters she wrote, Help wanted to make the air kind. The bells on her ankles chimed once, bright and fearless. For the first time, the sound didn't echo against emptiness. It answered itself.